I'm wearing black because I'm mourning my close and personal friend Rue Bennett. I don't talk about it. I actually don't talk about it. I'm also wearing these earrings, blues and purples, in honor of season 1 and the season 1 aesthetic. Shout out to Petra Collins. We strayed so far from God's light as we got through each season, didn't we? Which is ironic because of how like religious season 3 got, which I'm not, you know, but I don't know what happened. I don't know where we went wrong. I really don't know what happened. Hello to everyone and anyone watching this video. My name is Taj. Welcome back to my second channel. Euphoria is over. Last ever episode finished just over a week ago, and yeah, I'm not okay. I'm not okay because what the I'm really trying not to use rude words in my videos, but yeah, I'm not happy. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Before season 3 came on air, I decided to watch season 1 and 2, so that season 3, when season 3 started, the other seasons would be fresh in my head. Alongside this, I also rewatched Skins in between each episode of the new season, and this was because I had a friend who, when season 2 of Euphoria was on TV, she was my only friend who watched Euphoria, so we would bond over that. But then this time around for season 3, she said she's not watching it this time, and you know what, I don't blame her. She's smarter than me because I have suffered so much over the past 8 weeks. But she said that instead she rewatched Skins, and that just put something in my head. Well, to be honest, it was already in my head. It was actually a video that I decided I wanted to do years ago, but I never got around to doing it until today, which is a video in which I wanted to share things that happened in Skins. I feel like very coincidentally and very strangely also happened in Euphoria as well. And like, people say that, you know, Skins walked so Euphoria could run, but it's just like, there's some things that I'm going to talk about. I've got a whole list on my phone that is just like... Now, before I continue, this is all alleged. This is just a joke. As much as I hate Sam Levinson, I'm also aware that he's probably much more rich than me, and I cannot afford to catch a case. So if you're watching this and you think I'm accusing you of anything or trying to do defamation things, I'm not. I only rewatched season 1 to 4, so those are the ones that are fresh in my mind, and most of the things that I'm going to be talking about are things that happened in those seasons. So only generation 1, generation 2. Now, I actually am a generation 3 defender. That was technically my generation 1 because by the time I was allowed to watch Skins was when generation 3 was airing, and then when I watched the whole thing for the first time, I decided to watch it backwards. So I watched generation 3 and then generation 2 and then generation 1. Obviously generation 1 Claire's, followed very quickly by generation 2. I have a soft spot for generation 3, but I just feel like, honestly, the choices that they made, especially regarding, spoiler alert, killing Grace off so early in season 6, just made the whole season just so depressing. Also, making Frankie so annoying. Like, Frankie wanted to be Effie so bad, and I can't stand her. Because like, even in season 5, even though she was still kind of annoying, at least she was a bit different. Like, she had a little non-binary thing going on. Happy Pride, by the way. But yeah, I couldn't, and for that reason I just can't be bothered to rewatch season 5 or season 6. I think there's a couple of things generation 3, but yeah, some things are kind of a stretch, but some of these things are gonna, when I say it, if it didn't clock in your head already, you're gonna be like, what the heck, Sam? Someone needs to be getting sued, but not me though. Okay, so without further ado, here is a list of every time Euphoria reheated Skins' nachos. Number 1, a show about teens engaging in sex and drugs. Now, I know obviously there's quite a few shows with teenagers engaging in sex and drugs, but I feel like the grittiness of it and almost the romanticization of it is like, you don't get that a lot. I feel like the only other show, even though I've not watched it myself, so I can't fully confirm, but the only other show I feel like is on that level is Scam, which I do want to watch at some point. But yeah, I feel like if you look at other teen shows, you don't get the grittiness in that, you know what I mean? So yeah. Number 2, the first episode having a house party. I don't know, I feel like, I mean, okay, that's a good way to introduce all the characters, so fair enough. but I don't know, it's kind of like, maybe that's a stretch. By the way, there's like 28 things on this list, and also there's no particular order, so yeah. Number 3, every episode being centered around one character. This was a bit more explicit in Skins, but how comes the Euphoria intros of, especially in season 1 and a bit in season 2, but how comes we would have like an introduction to a specific character, just like with Skins, that'd be centered around the whole character? You don't see many shows doing that. Okay. Number 4, a lovable blonde called Cassie that turns evil in season 2. But the thing is, with Skins, like, it made a bit more sense because, I mean, her boyfriend cheated on her with the girl that her boyfriend was obsessed with the season previous. So, okay, fair enough. But, yeah, Cassie season 2, I don't want to talk about it. Season 1, Cassie, you are so loved. You're so loved. Yeah. Number 5, season 1 ending with characters randomly singing. Oh my god, when this clicked in my brain, I was so gagged. First episode of season 1, after Tony gets run over by a bus, Sid starts singing a rendition of Wild World by Cat Stevens. Incredible part of the ending, part of the show. Absolutely iconic, masterpiece, incredible. I don't think anything else has been done like that since. Oh no, it has. Why have they got Rue singing at the end of season 1 when she takes that line after Jules leaves her on the train? Now don't get me wrong, I love a bit of Zendaya singing, I'm never gonna turn that down, but you're gonna have the 2 main characters at the end of season 1 singing, and not just like singing, it's like out of place. This is not a musical show, and yet you're singing out of place, and it's a whole performance. Okay Sam. Number 6, main character having a younger sister that's an important character. This is a bit of a stretch, to be fair, but this was in reference to Gia and Effie. So, you know, I feel like a lot of, to be honest, I'm trying to think of like teen shows if there's like this occurring, but I feel like to have a main cast, then also like having the main character, one of the main character's siblings be relatively important as well. I feel like, I don't know, normally the siblings are like side characters, so it's kind of sus. Why make your main character have a sibling that's like really important, just like Skins did? Okay. Number 7, scary gangster that dies. So in in generation 1, there's this guy called Mad Hatter who's one of the most irritating characters ever. I actually skipped all his scenes when I rewatched it this time around. It's so annoying. And then I think episode 3, when he smashes up Zhao's clarinet, his dad's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this motherfucker out. They took him out, well, they took him in the back of his car and he was never seen again, thank Lord. And then beginning of season 2, Mouse, gross, disgusting, he ends up dying from getting bludgeoned by Ashtray. So yeah, RIP Mouse. In fact, when you think about it, I guess this is an extra bonus. Every generation of Skins had a gangster of some sort, and everyone gets taken down. They don't all die, but they all get taken down. And if you think about each season of Euphoria, the main bad guy, they all end up meeting their demise. So we have Mouse, and then Laurie, and then Alamo. Even though Laurie and Alamo, their demise came at the very end of season 3, but still, suspicious. Number 8, main character that dies in the 2nd season. If Sam was big and bad, why not kill off a main character in season 1? Why wait till season 2 to kill off Ashtray? Because it's kind of giving them killing off Chris in season 2 at the end, which kind of made more sense because like season 2 was more dark, more like, you know, season 1 was like light, silly, whatever, but season 2 was like, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I support Chris's death. That messed me up so bad, so bad when I saw it for the first time. It's just interesting. You couldn't just kill someone in season 1 if you're gonna be killing off people. Interesting. Number 9, abortion storyline. So this is in reference to Zhao, and then later on Cassie. Well, in another show it's Cassie. But yeah, again, abortion. This is like me stretching a bit, because I mean abortion happens in many shows. But Number 10, an out-of-pocket play in season 2. Guys, this is one of the other things that when I rewatched Skins, I was like, oh my gosh. Because in season 2, episode 2 of Skins, there is a play that is held based on 9/11, out of pocket. What do we get in season 2, episode 7 and 8 in Euphoria? You get Lexi's play, where she's like spilling all of the dirt on her friends and her sister. Taking the piss out of Nate. Very homoerotic kind of number. We get a reenactment of Cassie getting a bit excited on the little carousel. Right. Okay, Sam, okay. Number 11, not having a female main character darker than a brown paper bag. Number 12, a chef's kiss, a good girl, bad guy, friendship / romance. So this is in reference to Zhao and Chris, and then Bez and Lexi. Zhao and Chris, even though I don't know if you'd really count Chris as a bad guy, more troubled I'd say. But I feel like, yeah, Zhao and Chris are by far my favourite. No, they're my favourite alongside Rich and Grace, Generation 3. Zhao and Chris, Chris and Zhao, the flavour. The only thing that I don't like about the two things I don't like, obviously number 1, that Chris cheated on her, but number 2, the fact that they weren't shown enough. We barely got to see them once they got together. We saw them a lot in Chris's episode and a lot in Zhao's episode, and then we got crumbs in between. And like, it's just so disrespectful because their chemistry was crazy. Even in season 1, like their friendship in season 1, oh my god, so good. I feel like Friends Love is so overdone, but this Friends Lovers works so well, so good. And then Fez and Lexi, I don't want to talk about that actually. I actually don't talk about that because I just think like what could have been. R.I.P. Alex Cloud. What could have been. But yeah, Sam, I ask you again, why give the good girl, the nerdy girl, a friendship with the crazy, not crazy, with the kind of the druggy bad guy who's like, you know, a bit rough on the edges. What's the saying? Rough on the edge? No. Rough edges? There's a saying. I'm trying to think of the saying and I can't think of it. But yeah, suspicious that you paired them up. Don't get me wrong, great chemistry. But why, Sam? Why? Were you inspired by Chris and Zhao and their friendship, turn relationship? Interesting. Oh, this is crazy. Number 13, quoting Act 2, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. I'm gonna just have it up because I actually have it on my phone saved because in preparation for this video, because this is actually crazy. The only difference between the quotes is that, so for Skins, it's quoted by Tony, and he quotes a quote from Romeo, and I'm gonna read the quote to you. He says, if this will load for me, "It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief." And then he later says, "It is my lady, oh it is my love. Oh that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What is that? Her eye discourses it. I will answer it." And then he gets his shit rocked by Sid, as he should.
Sid?
Having a character randomly just knows Shakespeare, a high school like student knowing Shakespeare off by heart. Interesting. What's more interesting is the fact that Jules, in her drunken state, also somehow knows how to quote Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2. This is her quote. She says, "I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning, which doth cease to beat." I feel like there's more.
Ere, one can say it lightens, sweet good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when we next meet.
Suspicious of Sam to get his character to do that when it's already been done. Okay. Number 14, the villainous male main character villain. Why did I say villain twice? The villainous male main character having homosexual tendencies. With Tony in the Russia episode, season 1, he gives Maxi a BJ. Cool, you know, it's Pride Month, as I said before, happy Pride. That's absolutely cool. His heart wasn't in it though, you can really see Maxi was just like, no, let's stop. You're not good at everything. I think he literally says that.
I lost my head, and then he gave me head, and then we got deported from Russia. And I'm really, really sorry for being a slut, okay?
Nate. What's going on there? But why give him homosexual tendencies when that's already been done with Tony? Interesting. To be fair, I feel like Nate's kind of sexuality kind of storyline was really interesting, and because Sam's a shit writer, I feel like it didn't get to be explored very well following, well, to be honest, following season 3. In season 3, what even happened to Nate in season 3? I don't, anyway. Number 3, introducing a new character no one really fucks with in season 2. In Skins we have Sketch, who stalks Maxi, and she's, to be honest, I feel bad for her, but also, why are we stalking people? She was kind of annoying, but I do feel bad for her. And then season 2 we have Elliot. Why is he there? That long ass song no one asked for. Also, wait, did I write this down? Adding on to this point, a character in season 2 that no one fucks with but can both sing. Because one thing about Sketch, bitch can sing. Lovely voice, beautiful voice. That vibrato, oh, voice of an angel, voice of an angel. And Dominic Fike, obviously he's a singer, so you know. But yeah, why was the song so long? We'll never know. Number 16, main character having a kiki with the dinner lady. So this happens in season 1 episode 2, where Sid is talking to the dinner lady and he's talking about fish or something, and the cousin of Jamie Oliver. And then in, I don't remember what episode it was, but it's in season 1. I think it's season 2 actually. I think it's episode 2 actually, or 3. But Kat is talking about her grapefruit diet with the dinner lady. Why have a dinner lady and have so many lines and have a kiki with your main character, Sam, when they've done that in Skins? Interesting. Number 7, main character shags their best friend's ex. This is in reference to Sid and Michelle in Skins and Cassie and Nate in Euphoria. Now, Sid and Michelle, the way it was written, made sense. It made sense. He's grieving, she's kind of grieving another way, obviously with Tony and his injury from the bus accident, and then they find each other. Even though it was gross, it made sense. Cassie and Nate, where did that come from? Was he not slut shaming her the whole way through season 1? And suddenly he's in love with her. Okay. Don't get me wrong, not that I wanted him with Maddie, because he needs to be, well, the only person he is happily paired with now is the snake, so you know, praise the Lord. But yeah. Number 8, someone throwing up during a birthday celebration. Yeah, so this is actually something I completely forgot about until I rewatched it, but in the 2nd episode of season 3, Generation 2, so many numbers, I'm getting so confused, but Cook's birthday celebration, after, I believe it's when Cook eats the entire birthday cake that he's given from Emily, sorry.
I'm Katie fucking bitch, who the fuck are you?
And then Pandora throws up because, ew. I love Cook Down. Great character. I love Jack O'Connell. But why would you do that? But even more importantly, why would we have another character in a similar show throwing up at someone else's birthday party? I.e. Cassie throwing up in the pool when they're celebrating Maddie's birthday party. Now actually I will give Sam his flowers. This vomiting made more sense because she was drunk and she just heard Maddie say, "Have my babies," to Nate when she's in love with him. Whereas Pandora, she just threw up because, you know, that girl is just vibes and foolishness. Okay, this is maybe a stretch. Although, I mean, can you tell me any other shows that does this? Number 19, Sapphic Nature Bike Ride. So Naomi and Emily, so in Naomi's episode, I think it's episode 5, whatever her episode is, her and Emily go on a little bike ride to the lake and then they hook up. And then in episode 1, oh my god, this is too many numbers. Episode 2, season 1, after school, first day of school, Jules makes Rue bike all the way to this like field and this lovely nice little view. Why add that in? Just looks like you're trying to maybe redo a scene that's been done with 2 sapphic characters having a bike ride in nature. Okay. At number 20, killing off a main character in their lobotomized adult years, Naomi and Nate. Now, okay, to be fair, I haven't rewatched the season 7 adult episodes of Skins, so this is purely by memory, but I do remember vaguely that in those episodes Naomi is not who she was in her generation. Like as far as I remember, she's her ambition's gone. She's like a comedian or something, and she doesn't have a job. She's very just like, she's a mess. Girl, you're a mess. And it's just like, what happened to Naomi? Still love her. R.I.P. Naomi. Can't believe they killed her. Like, what the fuck? Why are we killing Naomi? The fact that they killed her, but she wasn't even herself. I don't know if that made it better or worse, to be honest. But yeah. But then, yeah, we get the same thing of a lobotomized character also getting killed off. Season 3, episode 7. R.I.P. Nate. Much more happier with his death than Naomi's. But no, also, as much as it was great that he died because he was a dick, I couldn't even enjoy it because he was so pathetic in season 3. Like, he just was going outside, man. Going outside. Like, I feel like it would have been so much more satisfying if either we got reminders of him being wicked, or he was just wicked as he was in the previous seasons, or if you got an explanation as to why he was suddenly like so chill and calm. I don't understand. I think I heard that Jacob Elordi wanted to play him like nicer this season. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that, so maybe that's why. But then even still, we could have got a backstory as to why you suddenly just like, you know, pathetic. Again, his ass beat every episode. Toes and fingers are gone. Anyway, number 21, a character younger than the main character with a mad attitude. This is a reference to Effie. I think what inspired me to write this down was the scene in the last episode of season 1 where her and Tony are in the car, and she just, for some reason, by the way, why does Effie have this like South London accent? She's like, one car, after being mute for the whole thing. Crazy.
Wanker.
Effie, not to bet when you didn't talk.
Wanker.
And then we get another character that's younger, a younger sibling that also has mad attitude in Ashtray.
I'm just trying to stack my cash, pay off our mortgage. So what the fuck you want?
You're 10. What do you mean you want to stack your money, pay your mortgage off? Mad attitude. Sam, could you not have given him a different personality trait? Perhaps? Don't get me wrong, love Ashtray, RP, but interesting. Number 22. This is also something I forgot until I rewatched it recently. This is actually crazy. Someone fucking someone's parent. So, season 4, we find out that Freddie and Cook's mom had sex. No, well, she gave him a BJ. But, yeah, victim. And then obviously, season 1, episode 1, we get Jules and his dad. Victim. Yeah, so none of these are, obviously, you know, woo. I should have not worded it as someone fucking someone's parent. It's more someone being like assaulted or molested or taken advantage of by someone's parent sexually. But yeah. 23. Character going through it pushes her girlfriend in a pool. So season 4, Naomi gets pushed into the paddling pool by Emily. This is a couple episodes after Emily found out that Naomi cheated on her with a girl who ended up killing herself in this first episode of season 4. This whole season 4, Emily's a mess and she gets drunk and she pushes Naomi. Why do we also get a scene of Jules pushing, okay, I mean technically they're not girlfriend and girlfriend at this point, but they're romantically involved, they've kissed and stuff. And why we getting Jules to push Rue in the pool. Well, I guess, okay, technically she pulls her in the pool because she's already in the pool. But, did we need to do that? Did we need to do that? Sam? Did we need to do that? Great cinematography when they're kissing in the pool. Very romantic, but, interesting choice. Interesting choice. And to be fair, like, Jules was going through it, and we found out in her special episode that she just found out that her mum relapsed with alcohol, and also this was after she was blackmailed by Nate to giving a false witness statement saying that she saw Tyler choke Maddie, even though it was him that did that. Number 24, 2 main characters get institutionalized at some point. We have 2 characters in Skins that get institutionalized, which is Cassie in season 1 after she tries to off herself because of Sid, and then later on we get Effie after she tries to off herself after having a psychotic episode because she's so in love with Freddie. But then we also get 2 characters who also get institutionalized for different reasons, to be fair. None of them tried to off themselves. One was Jules, which happened like way before the settings of the Euphoria season 1 take place. This is when she was a child. She was going through some mental health problems, hurting herself, stuff like that, and she gets taken to the psych ward. And then, well, the season starts with Rue leaving rehab, so it's not the same thing, but it's still institutionalization. I really hate saying that. Institutionalization, that's a really big word. Wow. Number 25. Wait, what? Oh yeah! Oh my god, I was confused at some point. Okay, so number 25, character getting hanged. Ooh. So I didn't watch, like I said, I didn't watch the season 7 episodes, but so season 7, I mean, I guess, did I write a point about season 7? Okay, I'm gonna add an extra bonus point, but there's the fact that there's a season with adult versions of the main characters. So season 7 of Skins, we see an adult version of Cassie, Effie, and Cook. And then obviously season 3, we get the Euphoria cast all as adults because there's been a time jump. In Cook's episodes of season 7, I'm not gonna go through the whole storyline, but he has a, I guess, girlfriend or friends with benefits, I'm not really sure what they are. And in the end, she ends up getting hanged by this crazy guy. And I feel like hanging is a very specific type of death. So why would we have another character hang themselves, i.e. Laurie? You couldn't have had Laurie off herself in another way? We had to do hanging? And also dramatic as well. I feel like it would have been so much faster for her to like shoot herself or like, I don't know, even just jump off the building. But we get the hanging specifically. And again, because season 7 of Skins is not like as big and whatever, so maybe he thought, oh, no one's gonna catch that. But I see you, Sam, I see you. Number 26, dead mixed race female character come back as a ghost slash spirit slash voice. So we have 2 people for Skins where this happens, which is Freddie and Grace. The way they did it with the Freddie character is really, really strange, because it's like, so obviously with Generation 1, the cast at the last episode of their season, they all know who Chris is dead. But with the last episode of season 4, Generation 2, they don't actually know, and Cook is the only one that officially finds out. And yet they're all acting as if they're mourning him, like, yeah, he disappears and stuff, but they keep saying things like, oh, it's his birthday today, and oh, where I said Freddie would have liked that, and oh, Freddie, where are you? And the way they're saying it is like there's talking to, you know when like a character dies and another character who's mourning them talks out loud to them? That's what was given, even though they don't actually officially know he's dead. So it was very, I don't like how they did that. And then also there's parts in the episode where we hear Freddie whispering. I think the part I remember the most is when Cook ends up in the guy who kills Freddie, the psychologist. Cook ends up at his house, and then Freddie whispers, "Get out of there!" Like it's his ghost voice or something.
And it's like, okay, whatever. And then Generation 3, we have, this is more apparent, but we have Grace coming back as a ghost several times, which I feel like makes sense because of the fact that they killed her off so early and my girl needs to get her check. She needs to be included somehow. So fair enough, come like bring her back as a ghost for the characters grieving her. It makes a bit more sense. And they did it in much better way, I think, than they did with Freddy. So I'll give them that, whatever. But then we do that with Rue as well. Because at the very last scene of the last episode, you get Rue coming back as like, I don't know, a vision or I don't know. I don't know what it's meant to be. But she's sitting at the table with Ali. Why am I saying that so weird? Ollie. I'm gonna say Ollie and the Amish family. And to be fair, beautiful scene, gut-wrenching scene. And I knew when I saw the empty chair that they were gonna do that. Oh, she looked so happy. Oh, whatever. 27, nearly done by the way. Oh, 27 is crazy. And I couldn't believe it when I saw, but, and okay, this one is just me taking the piss. It's not serious at all. Having a main character who's also in the Michael Jackson biopic. Because why was Grace from Skins Latoya Jackson? Crazy, absolutely crazy. When I saw her there, I was like, what are you doing here, girl? What are you doing here? Grace from Skins? And obviously Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. I wonder if they had a little kiki with each other, like, so you was also in a teen show back in the day about sex and drugs? Let's take notes, compare and contrast. So I would love to have heard this conversation, so it would have been hilarious if they happened. And number 8, this is also me taking the piss, but it genuinely happened, and it is main character death, so sad that I get too overwhelmed to comprehend it in real time and end up crying on the bus 24 hours later. So this is in reference to Chris. When I watched Chris's death for the first time, I think I said this earlier, I was so messed up from that when it first, and the thing is, I watched the scene before, like on YouTube, but I didn't watch it in context with the whole show, so I thought it'd be fine. But then I saw it in context with the whole show after having fallen in love with Chris and Chris's character. I was so shocked and overwhelmed. I was like, oh my god, what is this? And I was so depressed and so sad. And then 24 hours later, I'm on the bus on the way home. I'm so sad. Tears in my eyes, so humiliating. And then it happened again last week on the way home from work. Having been too overwhelmed to cry. I didn't even understand what was going on when Rue's death scene came on. I thought, I was so confused because obviously they do this kind of artistic meta thing. So I didn't actually realise I was watching her die when she was like gasping and like reaching up. And then when I realised she was dead, I was like, oh my god, they killed her off. Because people were saying the whole time, oh, they're gonna kill her off. But I didn't actually believe it. They're not gonna kill her off. And they killed her off. And I'm wearing black in mourning, like I said. That's my sister. That's actually my sister. So yeah, I was so depressed. I'm still really sad, to be honest. She deserved so much better than that. And I had to cry for her on the bus. It wasn't as bad as Chris's. It was more like kind of like little tears that came. There wasn't like it was just more like my eyes got a bit wet. But it wasn't like, whereas with Chris it was actually like tears are coming down.
I should get some sleep.
My battery died. It's giving Rue.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like,
Too soon, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna stop filming because I finished my list, which was great timing. But I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you thought of Euphoria season 3, because I didn't have anyone to talk about it with this time around. So I'd love to know your thoughts if you watched it. I'd also like to know if there's any other similarities that you've picked up on watching Euphoria and Skins, if you're a fan of both shows. Especially in regards to Generation 3, because like I said, I didn't watch that one, so there might have been something that happened in that generation in season 5 and 6 that I forgot that happened in Euphoria as well. That's very uncanny. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next video.